punya nanti keluar balik nanti dia masuk balik kot ya. So terima kasih. Okay. Syiffa? Boleh
Okay,
dengar?
Assalamualaikum. Boleh dengar?
Okay. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Kejap nak angle sikit tu. So tak nampak apa kipas tu. Distracting pula dia punya kipas tu. Tak perlu turun bawah sikit. Syiffa, apa khabar? Apa cuaca di Kok?
Assalamualaikum. Khabar baik. Saya dekat Malaysia.
Oh, kat Malaysia. Okay, sorry. Ya Allah.
Alhamdulillah. Baru sampai 3 hari lepas.
Oh, dah habis dah jet lagnya?
Adalah sikit-sikit tu lagi. Cuba fighting for berlawan dia.
Everyone sihat ke ataupun apa memang Syiffa balik ada kerja ke bercuti ke apa dia?
Alhamdulillah semua orang sihat. Cuma ada urusan keluarga sikit. Lepas tu nak jumpa ibu ayah kan.
Okay.
Sebab Disember ni cutinya lama sikit. Apa ni nak habiskan cuti Christmas.
Okay.
Tapi insya-Allah akan kerja juga for a while dalam 10 hari, 7 ke 10 hari, tapi ada hari ambil cuti. Nak spend time. Dr. Ha sihat?
Sihat alhamdulillah. Tu ada live with Lilia kot. Kata Assalamualaikum Dr. Ha. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. So tajuk hari ni interesting sebab kita belum banyak cakap sangat pasal ego. InsyaAllah.
Betul.
Okay, sila Syiffa. Okay kan Dr. punya view ni?
Mungkin boleh ataskan sedikit.
Okay.
Sebab Dr. Ha punya dia macam half of your forehead. Sikit je.
Sikit,
I think kipas tu okay je I think.
Kipas tu okay je.
Okay.
Betul lah pula rasa macam distracting kipas tu.
Okay. Alright. Okay, take your angle. Alright.
Jadi nampak juga lagi kipas tu.
Okay.
Okay.
This one is better. Yeah.
Okay. Nak letak main bunga juga kat sini. Jadinya nampak sikit bunga air tu.
Okay hidup tu.
Dah. Yang ni bunga hidup ada dekat balcony. Jadi bunga yang tak hidup lah. Okay. Boleh ya?
Boleh.
InsyaAllah.
Okay. InsyaAllah. Assalamualaikum everyone. Thank you so much everyone for joining. I can see my mom is just in the other room, but I can see she's joining as well. And then I can see my best friend also joining. Nampaknya topik ni, topik hari ni ego game, Taming the Dark Side. So obviously we're gonna talk about ego lah. Topik ego ni kita bawa ke hujung tahun sempena I would say like ego ni benda yang macam everyone has their own ego kan. Saya ada ego, Dr. Ha, everyone, even when we talk about the gender pun lelaki dengan perempuan ada ego masing-masing. But as what I put it or suggested in the topic, it's for me lah kan, ego ni is like a game. And we need to know how to tame our ego so that we will not lose lah the game. So mungkin inilah yang macam Syiffa nak bincangkan dengan Dr. Ha. Mungkin dapatkan nasihat Dr. Ha tentang how for us to deal with our ego. And what's your opinion lah dulu about the ego itself. Because for me, ego ni simpelnya, mudahnya, our relate ego is related to nafsu as well, because nafs is like, if we directly translate it from Arabic, it's like self, translated dia maksudnya diri, self, and ego is like something related with the inner feeling of self-importance. When you have like low self-esteem or something, so you want to compensate that, So you're gonna have like high ego in related to certain thing. So mungkin Dr. Ha ada lebih opinion about what is ego for you.
Okay. Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Khabar Syifa ya, dan semua yang sudi nak bersama. I'm sure diorang ada expectation lah bila attend pillow talk ni kan. Sebenarnya kita tak bagi kata pillow je lah ni. Syifa dengan yang semua. I'm sure ada yang dengar dengan baring lah ni kan. Tapi kita tak boleh lah nak baring. Cumanya Dr. Han selalu excited bila tunggu tajuk-tajuk yang Syifa bagi. Tajuk-tajuk setakat ni sebenarnya Syifa yang ni it's not coming from me. Dan kali ni Dr. Han nak rungkai dulu tajuk tu. Ego Game, Taming The Dark Side kan. Jadi kalau katalah, okay, nanti kita describe ego tu. I think we need to be on the same page dulu lah apa dia ego. Dan baru kita boleh. Tapi perkataan macam game that is usually, you know, related to competition and it's a bit competitive kan. Jadi macam game ni selalunya you ada winner, ada loser. Tak rasa lah kan. And then the second part of that is taming the dark side. So I do not know whether we want to say ego is our dark side ataupun ego tu ada dark and also the white side kan. The not so the apa orang kata the side yang tak dark lah kiranya kan. The bright side ataupun and taming tu ya. I do not know why you use the word taming. Tu ingat cerita Taming of the Shrew. Taming ni selalunya dengan wild animal. Dia tame kan, menjinakkan so that apa tujuan bila kita tame dia akan ikut kita. Dia akan ikut apa yang kalau misalnya haiwan atau binatang pet kita tu kita suruh duduk, kita suruh dia ambil something ke, dia pergi ambil kan. So that is actually anak kuda pula as compared to a wild horse and a tame one. Of course the tame one itu memang will allow you to naik atas dia and then you know dengan dia akan bawa kita mana kita nak pergi. So I think it's a very interesting topic. Sebenarnya Dr. rasa dalam sejam ni kita kupas mana yang boleh dulu and of course Dr. Har rasa mungkin kita boleh agree on certain thing, sama ada ego tu memang is a game or maybe the ego tu maybe boleh decide whether we are going to win or lose the game, but what game actually kan. And then kalau katalah rated dengan second one tu macam ni kita nak menundukkan dia lah agaknya kan supaya dia tidak causing us problem. I think macam tu lah kan selalu kita kata okay, let me define dulu ego tu and then baru you realise agaknya maybe that's the reason why we got into a lot of problem dengan ego ni tau ya. So ego tu nafsu, nafs dalam bahasa Arab tu mungkin itu yang maknanya kendiri kan, self. And so maybe ada related dia tu ya, ada dia punya hubung kait yang sangat rapat dengan nafs tu. So ego ni doktor kena memang kalau dapat tertib macam ni tak kena prepare lah kan. So kena membaca dulu sikit. And I think this is an opportunity for me to actually rungkaikan ego and vulnerability. You know? Ego versus vulnerability. So we've been talking about vulnerability and Dr. dapat satu artikel ni yang rasa macam it combine both when I actually look up for ego versus vulnerability kan. So let me define dulu ego, which to me pun interesting. Macam lah Dr. ni bukan psychologist, so please I'm not going to define it through Sigmund Freud ke apa ke lah ya. Tapi well, dia kata ego is the 3 letters that hold us back from the vulnerability. Sudah keluar dah kan, vulnerability dengan ego kat situ. Okay, let me repeat lagi. Ego, E-G-O tu is, there are the 3 letters that hold you back from the vulnerability to hear the things your heart is dying to say, you know. I love you, I miss you, I'm sorry. Apa tak ya? So this is, bila kita nak cakap benda yang sebenarnya memang datang daripada hati kita, but why don't we say it out? That's our ego lah sebenarnya, that hold us up. Okay, bagi saya yang paling senang lah. Kenapa kita tak pergi salam kat orang yang stranger yang kita jumpa? kat dalam lift ke, kat ni kan. Kenapa kita tak boleh salam? Because kita takut nanti dia tak jawab, lepas tu malulah kita. Kan, ego ni related dengan kita punya maruah lah, kita punya harga diri lah, kita water face lah kan. So, and that's why you don't love a person or you don't dare to say I love you to that person because you takut orang tu tak sayang you pula. Kan, that's vulnerability kan. And that's why topik macam ni selalu kita discuss dengan love lah kan selalunya. So Dr. just remind sikit apa dia vulnerability. It's actually kalau ikut Brené Brown dia sebenarnya is a uncertainty. You know, something out of your control. It is a risk of exposure and emotional pain. You know, and that's why itulah tadi kita sayang orang tu tapi tak berani nak cakap. Sebab kita takut nanti dia akan kata, I tak sayang you pun. So dalam artikel ni, saya suka sangat dia kata, you know, this is something yang I think describe kita lah, apa dia vulnerability tu. Dia kata, kalau kita tengok in terms of love kan, ataupun kita relationship dia kita, waking up every day and loving someone who may or may not love you back. Satu, you know. Whose safety we can't ensure. Mana kita tak tahu sama dia pergi kerja, pergi sekolah tu, dia balik ke tak lepas tu. Who may stay in our lives or may leave without a notice pun kan. Who may be loyal today and betray us tomorrow. Okay, that's vulnerability. Okay, so there's so many things at stake. Jadi itu yang sebabkan agaknya we want to save ourselves from all this pain and uncertainty. Kita decided not to do that lah, not to love somebody, not to say I love you kan. You nak tunggu orang lu cakap kat you kan. So those are vulnerability and sebenarnya vulnerability ni this a permission to be human. When you are vulnerable, then you become authentic and original. Otherwise, it's always like, you know, what other people say, and you will just be doing things that you expect other people, you know, expecting from you. You know, so masa bila kita nak authentic tu kan? Jadi, so ego balik, ego ni lepas tu dia define lah ego after dia kata the 3 letter that hold you back, you know, from the vulnerability, the pain of, you know, somebody else responding to I love you, I miss you, I'm sorry kan ya, tu yang susah sangat nak cakap tu. So ego is actually a part of you that defines itself as a personality. Itu the ego, you know? So ego ni dia yang bagi tahu okay, kenapa yang dalam gambar ni Syiffa lah, Dr. Tapi sama ego juga lah in a way, you know? So I don't miss up. I tak expect macam dalam skrin Dr. ni sebelah kanan tu, itu bukan I yang sebelah kiri ni and vice versa dengan you juga kan, dia kata. So ego ni dia separate itself from the outside world and consider itself as a separate entity. That's really true, you know. That's the one yang buatkan you to you lah, you rasa, and you stand on your own 2 feet as an individual called Harlina and called Syiffa gitu kan ya. So dia kata this is most probably very important for survival, you know, so that kita ada rasa macam that's mine atau I need to make sure I'm safe, you know. So benda tu important untuk masa kita survival tu. Tapi in modern time, those insecurity ataupun you know the desire to be yourself tu is going to interfere with your belief system, sampaikan you know, your trust and maybe you know your ability to connect with another person. So I think this statement is very important. The ego is responsible for hate, fear and delusions. So I think kalau kita ambil contoh yang sekarang ni kan, ya, ada satu bangsa yang sangat takut lah kan, dengan dia rasa dia yang paling bagus semua tu. They are having, you know, a lot of issue with their ego lah agaknya, you know, what it means to be a Jew tu kan contohnya kan. Jadi so kita pun pelik kan macam mana sampai dia rasa other people is justified to do all that atrocity, you know, without having so to me there is ego getting out of control pula lah rasa I lah, you know. Okay, so I stop there dulu in defining and macam dissecting the tajuk malam ni yang I rasa boleh jadi thesis PhD ni.
Oh.
Okay. So I do not know whether so our ego to me of course bila Allah bagi tu is actually important, it's important for you to be you itu tu. Cumanya are we now getting overboard macam contohnya it is me, myself, I and mine tu.
Yes.
That is our darker side lah agaknya. Everything must start with you dulu. Apa-apa mestilah what's in it for me dulu. Like macam kalau benda tu tak bermanfaat dengan ataupun tak menguntungkan kita ke, don't waste time. So like going out of your way to help people, considering other people dulu tu dah jadi macam a very rare virtue pula, padahal and then actually is counterproductive. So when you live in an environment where you cannot trust other people because like other people is just thinking about themselves, they're not thinking less but thinking so much of themselves. So masa itulah kita rasa selalu sangat dengar it used to be like 20-30 years ago, rumah kat kampung ni tak payah ada kunci pun. But now semuanya kena ada grill. Kan? Semuanya kan. So of course you don't like to, I mean it really kiranya macam take away that peace of mind, that feeling of I can depend on you and you can depend on me gitu kan. So
Yes.
So I think that might be the darker side lah. Okay, back to you, Syiffa.
Okay. Syiffa memang agree dengan apa yang Dr. Ha share kan dengan kita. Ego is parts of the vulnerability, and betul lah, memang boleh buat suggestion lah siapa yang nak buat tajuk thesis. Do more deeper on the research, because Syiffa pun baca lah buku Brené Brown yang Dr. Ha selalu suggest kan. Daring Greatly ni, so it's also touch about vulnerability. And bila dengan topik-topik kita sebelum ni, lepas tu we always talk about vulnerability, and when it comes to ego, I have the thoughts as well, macam so sebenarnya ego ni is the vulnerability side of us. It's not necessary to be the dark emotion ataupun dark feelings. It depends lah on how kita nak tamekan dia. So that's the reason I use the word tame, because kita nak menjinakkan ego kita. Sebab kalau kita nak kata macam ego ni tak penting macam Dr. Ha cakap, I would say like we might lost our sense of identity and all, because macam tadi artikel tu pun cakap it's related to your identity as well. But of how we deal with our ego tu lah kot, dia punya, I would say our behaviour towards our ego tu, how we react towards it tu lah yang actually memberikan kesan kan kepada diri kita dengan kepada surrounding juga.
Yep. Dr. Ha rasa macam bila Dr. Ha scroll balik artikel ni tadi kan, dia memang ada kata yang pasal me, myself, I and mine tu. Dia kata benda tu lah yang these are the labels by which we mentally and emotionally separate ourselves from the rest of the existence. And agaknya tu yang kalau lagi ego tu selalunya kita nampak dia lagi sombong lah, ataupun dia mungkin tak rasa nak connect dengan kita apa semua tu lah ya. So I think lagi you layan ego ni, you jadi more and more detached dengan orang lain, even dengan your partners, your spouse, your anak-anak semua tu lah. Kan kita selalu dengar budak-budak anak-anak komplain mak ayah dia sangat ego lah kan, tak nak. And usually katalah tak nak mengaku salah pun, padahal dah salah pun. Sebab kita nak kata I'm sorry, I'm wrong, I was mistaken ke atau macam tu it's like scratching your ego. Ni selalu ada word tentang ego, kita scratch the ego kan. So macam terluka begitu. Jadi that is when you look at vulnerability as something something you despise and something you hate because it's weak and it is making you look bad among other people lah. Jadi So contoh kan, Dr. Han mungkin dah went through this life dah 57 tahun ni. Katalah contoh kan, bila kita jadi doktor contohnya, there are certain expectation as to how a doctor should be contohnya kan. So you nak pergi kerja, takkan you bawa jalan kaki, so kena bawa kereta lah kan. Kereta pula agaknya takkan kereta biasa, kan kereta yang padan lah dengan title doktor tu. Kan, lepas tu you naik pula pangkat lagi, you jadi profesor pula, takkan rumah macam ni kot profesor kan, kena. Tapi sebenarnya kalau you tanya sendiri kat ego tu kan, can you actually live in this kind of, boleh, no problem. Orang akan kata agak yang pelokek ke apa ke, that one is actually apa orang kata, something that you cannot avoid pun kan. And to me, you can actually live the life you wished kan, if you apa, allow yourself to be vulnerable. Memang orang akan cakap punya lah kan. Tapi as long as you kena dengar, so tu yang you kena beli kereta yang you expect, orang pun akan expect you pakai kereta tu contohnya kan. And then you kena beli rumah yang sesuai lah dengan title you tu. I think boleh tak Syiffa, agaknya those are the things yang apa ego buat pada kita lah sebenarnya kan. Padahal kita mungkin tak mampu sangat pun, sebab yalah kalau orang lain mungkin dia kena, duit kita tu kita kena jaga mak kita yang tak sihat contohnya, ataupun adik-beradik kita perlukan kita punya bantuan semua kan. So mana orang lain tahu apa sebenarnya you punya financial responsibility tu kan. And then so janganlah pula just because ego you beritahu lah, takkanlah you doktor you pakai kereta ni duduk kat rumah tu. Jadi kan. So I think those are the things yang buatkan kita buat choices yang sebenarnya pull us deeper into our problem tu tau. Bukannya so somehow kita memang kena yang macam Bernie kata tu lah, you need to handle your ego ni supaya bila dia tengah cakap macam takkanlah kot kan, habislah, jatuhlah air muka you. You can say like, you know what, kan, thanks for that, but I don't need that now, kan contohnya kan. And satu lah about ego dia kata ya, I baca quote ni kata, when ego is lost, limit is lost, dia kata. You become kind, beautiful and authentic, dia kata, and original. Kan? Betul. So I think itulah dia agaknya yang menjadi penghalang untuk kita betul-betul rasa authentic tadi.
Authentic ya, rasa ego tu. And interesting Dr. Ha, bila Dr. Ha sentuh pasal ego dengan family, in a way in a relationship lah, especially dengan orang yang lebih tua, lebih senior daripada kita. So it leads to like, I have list of questions here.
Okay, please.
Okay, untuk orang yang menonton pun, kawan-kawan yang menonton boleh lah nak tanya soalan. Kalau rasa nak be anonymous, boleh pergi dekat question marks tu dan tanyakan soalan kat situ, okay? So, my question is like, bila kita cakap pasal Dr. Ha kata macam ego dengan kiranya macam contoh tadi Dr. Ha bagi, contoh ibu bapa, macam susah nak kata sorry, ataupun orang yang lebih tinggi pangkatnya susah nak mengaku yang they somehow, even though they are very experienced, lebih makan garam, we are human.
Itu yang
and we
lebih makan garam tu sebab jadi darah tinggi tu. Okay.
Oh yes. Lebih makan garam we are very human, and somehow there are parts of our life yang kita sememangnya tak tahu, ataupun kita ada buat salah tu. Mungkin sebab kita tak lalui pada waktu itu ataupun pada situasi itu. So the three types tadi that might lead to Dr. Ha share tadi, macam orang susah nak kata I love you, susah nak kata I miss you, susah nak kata I'm sorry. So this is tackling part yang I'm sorry lah. Well, some relationship pun ada juga yang susah nak kata I love you dengan I miss you ni, even between parents and children. So in your opinion, how is the most soft ways lah bila kita nak deal dengan somebody yang lebih senior, ibu bapa kita, orang tua kan, yang might have high ego, high ego. Macam mana kata Ha?
Okay, dah bercakap sebagai orang tua lah. Orang yang memang dah lebih makan garam dari itu kan. So bila doktor dengan anak sometimes kan contohnya, sometimes it hurts tau bila diorang tegur kita tu macam dia tegur kawan-kawan dia je kan. Kan? And I feel that emotional pain lah, feel vulnerable kan. And then what do we do in our usual way? We kata dia tak hormat kat orang tua kan, anak dia harga dan kita cepat lah keluar yang tu. And kita pula sebagai anak ni, sebab kita tak maulah mak ayah kita terluka, kecil hati tu, so kita pun diam kan je lah kan. So we feed on that ego lah. And then nanti bila kita pula jadi mak ayah pun kita buat exactly like that kan. So I think we need to break this cycle. Of course bila anak-anak tegur kan contohnya, Dr. cakap now I'm the other side of the table, okay. So you all pula anak-anak katalah Syiffa katalah nak tegur somebody who's older, more senior. Bukan tu saja, you know that this person has done so much for you kan. Tapi memang you kena tegur juga. So sekarang ni in talking about ego and taming it and vulnerability, and to be courageous and daring greatly, you need to tegur kan. So okay, so Dr. Han ni receiving end, menegur teguran anak-anak ke semua. Kadang-kadang rasa macam alahai kan, kita tahulah kita silap, tapi cara dia tegur tu buat kita rasa macam. So what I did, you know, I said okay, I take that, but you know what, I feel very hurt kan, I'm your mother. You tak boleh lah tegur I macam you tegur kawan-kawan tu kan. So habis nak tegur macam mana kita when if they you know spoke back to me, and I said like that is your problem. Macam mana you not make sure that, okay. So but my input and my feedback is that even though that's true, but I feel hurt kan. Okay, now of course di sinilah yang masa tu anak tu kena kata I'm sorry kan. And then tapi anak ni pun degil juga kan, di mana dia nak dapat degil tu kalau tak daripada mak ayah dia yang degil ni jugalah kan. So akhirnya dia jadi mungkin satu perbalahan dan ni kan. So the next thing after, to me kan, nak mengalahkan ego ni is to always say I'm sorry, I love you. Apa tadi satu lagi, I miss you I'm sorry, I miss you, I love you. At the point where you don't have to, maknanya you tak payah cakap pun kan benda tu kan. Tapi you and you feel very vulnerable masa tu contohnya, takkanlah I nak minta maaf kat dia ni, I mak dia kan. So macam tu kan, itulah. Tapi kadang-kadang kena jugalah, okay. And then of course benda tu sebenarnya itu yang akan put ego ni, or what you say lah, taming that ego, so that it will not come in between you and that person. Yang satu point actually Syiffa kalau perancang kan, kita agaknya senang cakap I'm sorry to kawan kita kat tempat kerja, but saying sorry to our family member is like macam mas dalam mulut tu tak boleh nak keluar kan. And I always remember that, you know what, you end up hurting the person yang paling close dengan you know, hurting them the most. Kan? And I think I agree when you hurt somebody, especially if that person is so close, so important to you, you end up hurt twice. Kita sebenarnya terluka lagi dua kali. So and I think after I accept that, I try my best not to hurt other people lah. Tapi of course kita akan buat juga kan ya. So macam tapi I think the most important once you hurt somebody is to say I'm sorry and genuinely say sorry kan. Saying I'm sorry itu pun ada banyak jenis, this language of apology, you know. And then I learned that sometimes some people just need to hear I'm sorry, itu cukup dah. Tapi ada yang you kata I'm sorry pun dia tak ni lagi, rupanya dia nak dengar the second one, I'm sorry, it was my mistake. You know, that taking of responsibility tu kan. Okay. And for us pula tu, that is putting you more vulnerable kan. Jatuh muka you, ni bukan jatuh je, macam you know, kulit muka ni macam tanggal kan. So okay, rupanya ada juga orang yang bila dia dengar I'm sorry, kita dah bagi tahu dia I'm sorry, it was my mistake, masih lagi tak nak maafkan. Rupanya this person need the third one, which is dia takkanlah kata I'm sorry, it was my mistake, and then tapi you kena ada compensation lah. Maksudnya yang tu, yang you have to give something yang according to dia punya love language in order to express. Kan. So kalau orang tu memang suka bunga apa semua, I'm sorry, it was my mistake and this is actually the compensation kan ya. Macam nak teruslah nak berdamai tu kan. Kalau misalnya dia memang suka quality time, you kena ambil cuti, pergilah somewhere. Kalau dia ni words, then you kena katalah I lah yang paling teruk, you have been my sunshine, my rainbow, my everything gitu kan. Kalau dia ni pula yang jenis act of service, you need to make sure you serve that person. And of course kalau physical touch tu, you need to hug that person and so benda tu. Tapi kan Syiffa, ada pula orang yang dah dapat 3 ni masih tak maafkan you tau. So dia nak yang the fourth one ni is like you have to express the genuinity and the sincerity of your saying sorry. From the very bottom of my heart, I'm sorry. So ada orang yang kata you nak I kata sorry kan? Sorry macam tu. Tapi gaduh sebenarnya belum tentu sorry. Okay, and Dr. Har rasa okay, ada orang yang lepas 4 ni pun masih lagi tak boleh maafkan you. Yelah for whatever apa perbuatan yang menyakitkan hati dia tu ke. This person need the fifth one, which is I promise you that I will not repeat that. I will not do it again. Sebab sometimes kan ada orang dia minta maaf tu dia buat lagi, minta maaf buat lagi kan. So this is the 5 apology language of apology. 5 languages of apology. Kan ada 5 love languages kan. I think Gary Chapman juga sebenarnya yang tulis on this. So to me the strategy is this. Bukannya ada 1 atau 2 je yang kita suka macam love language tu tak. To me when you are really genuinely sorry and you want forgiveness from somebody, you bagi dia 5 benda ni. InsyaAllah dia akan maafkan. Kan ya. Jadi tapi coming back to our topic, that's not easy.
Yes. Betul tu.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not easy, especially when we are always knowing that we are in higher level kan, macam aku lagi makan garam, macam Dr. Ha cakap lah. And sometimes when we think that, especially when it comes to family members lah yang might know us, we thought that they know us. So if like macam Dr. Ha cakap, it's very uncommon ataupun yang paling difficult to say sorry among family members because maybe we just take them for granted because they always there regardless. Macam air yang dicincang takkan putus. So kita macam I don't have to say sorry kan. Tapi sebenarnya untuk menjaga yang lebih dekat tu lebih important kan. Like for me lah, I'm very grateful bila Dr. Ha kata macam I'm reflecting back. Bila Dr. Ha tekankan yang macam kata to say I love you, I miss you and I'm sorry. Walaupun benda tu macam tak on specific event, like you just say I love you or I miss you ni, walaupun macam maybe on daily basis, because I think that one it's not tame your ego, but whenever you do something yang wrong, it actually macam melembutkan sedikit keadaan. You become more soft lah towards it instead of having very hard on it. Because kalau Syiffa boleh share what we, like me and my mom or my family, like I love you or I miss you is like in our daily basis, like every call macam I love you, I miss you macam tu. And then my friend said macam pernah lah dekat asrama dulu, tak malu ke kata I love you? Lepas tu like I never thought of that question tau, macam malu? Okay. Malu macam tu kan. So and then it reflects back lah bila Dr. Ha kata like ego is like you have the hatred, the fear and the delusion as well kan. So macam mungkin sekarang saya faham lah, mungkin lah malu tu sebab tak biasa ataupun just nak macam nak cover up something yang we might have low self-esteem in ourselves kan. Well, it takes practice on it. Macam yang kita cakap, because it's parts of the ego. So nak tamekan tu pun it takes practice lah for us even to say sorry kan. It's not that easy. For me, I think I'm not being sexist. Tapi I have this conversation lah with my mom as well. I said macam, what do you think? Perempuan ke lelaki kan yang selalu ataupun susah nak kata sorry. Lepas tu I said to my mom, I think perempuan yang akan selalu kata sorry. This is what I tell my mom lah. And then my mom said, no, perempuan lah yang paling susah nak kata I'm sorry. So I was like, ya ke? Macam, ya ke? Macam, dia kata yes. Dia kata in relationship or in anything, it's perempuan. I'm not sure why it is like that. Is it because perempuan selalu ingat dia betul? Is it? What do you think, Dr. Ha?
Okay. It's very interesting to actually always drag anything into these gender differences, you know, and talk about, you know, female will be like this, male will be like that, gitu lah kan. And that will never end kan, that debate, okay. Saya rasa macam tengok circumstances juga. And to me, this cut across gender to me. If only we as human being kan, being taught from young to look at vulnerability as permission to be human being, you know, like when you are in a vulnerable situation, you choose to face it, you know, rather than you call and you put your mask on, which can be very early tau kita instill ke anak-anak. Bila anak-anak katalah, itu yang bila anak-anak nak express emotion sikit kan, masa tu dia orang memang itu je dia kan bila ni, tapi kita yang kata jangan nangis contohnya kan, ataupun you know that kind of thing. Kita family kita tak mengingin macam tu. Kan, so that is how they learn that all this emotion yang macam express your emotion is really a symbol of weakness contohnya kan. And I think that's how, you know, culture tu is like how we do it here, you know. So and then macam maybe balik pada soalan yang apa discussion Syiffa dengan Mak tu, ya to certain extent ya, ada yang masa kita rasa orang perempuan ni susah betul kita nak maafkan. Contohnya macam kalau kita yang selalu tu bila kita dah bagi jiwa raga kita, kesetiaan kita, tiba-tiba being betrayed contohnya kan, dikhianati. Minta maaf lah yang tu. Kan we can maybe we can forgive but we will never forget. Contohnya lah kan. So tapi kalau yang benda lain agaknya mungkin, but to me this is, since you are bringing that up, you know, about gender ni, Dr. punya take in this issue of vulnerability and all, I think men in our culture especially kan, kesian dia orang because they have not been raised to connect with their vulnerability tau. Kita orang perempuan ni lah, we have this talk like this, pillow talk macam ni kan, tapi I don't think men will actually talk like this dekat kedai kopi ke dekat mamak tu kan. So and so every time in their life they need to always make sure that they don't let their guard down, you know. They always have to wear that mask kan. So kesian. So I hope, I have one son, I have actually two, seorang meninggal masa dia 3 bulan. So yang tu dah tak ada peluang nak jaga dia lah and shape him up. I have one son sekarang ni. I hope that I have raised him to be connected to his emotion. Even though he's struggling lah, because around him men don't show their emotions sangat kan, tapi I hope that I raise him to know that I love you son, you know. Calling him son dekat-dekat kalau bahasa kita panggil hatan kan, macam kan, dalam bahasa Jawa dia ada satu tak, kalau tengok cerita-cerita macam cerita Indonesia yang pakai bahasa Jawa tu kan, mengger tu memang sayang betul tau, like so macam orang putih kan, son, you know, it's actually very important tau. So and ni dia dah 2 bulan tak ada dekat Malaysia ni kan, so I can really see that he misses home, you know, he miss me kan. So and then he need to express that and mungkin tu mudah-mudahan dia jadi seorang yang tak rasa takut untuk connect dengan emotion dia kan. Now that time mungkin nak why did I say we start early with that kan, and no wonder bila kita besar ni so toughen up ni kan, sekonon-konon lah, tapi hati nak orang kata sayang, nak kata sayang, tapi tak terkeluar mulut kita ni tapi kita pun kahwin dengan orang yang macam tu juga. So akhirnya mungkin kata juga ayang, tapi dia tak dalam tau, dia tak, and then of course you tak express it ni kan. So So your emotional tank or emotional container tu still kosong juga lagi kan. So
Betul?
that time ingat masa this might be the first time I relate the story here gitu, connected to this. Tapi I ingat masa Syiffa first day dia pergi sekolah jam 1, as I was holding her hand nak pergi kelas tu, ingat lagi jalan tu macam berbukit sikit kan, so we were walking together and she squeezed my hand tau. That was the first day, ingat lagi. Dia pergi masuk pukul 8 dengan pukul 10 kan, selalunya dia tak ambil lah macam yang belum macam kelas biasa tu. So as I was walking to, dia squeeze my hand and she stopped, So dia berhenti tu. So I pun berhenti juga. And look down at her, she was looking up at me, looking so scared. I said, and then dia cakap, I'm scared Umi. And then masa tu, my role as a mother, kalau jadi mak yang biasa, typical mak gitu kan, kata, apa nak takut, tak apa, Syiffa baik, Syiffa okey, nanti dapat kawan semua, jangan risaulah. Kan, ni sekolah bagus semua, jangan takut macam tu. We will deny, her ni. So, tapi masa tu agaknya I was just reading about, you validate. I was scared too, I was scared. Of course, that was my first experience sending my daughter to school. I do not know whether. So what I did, instead of saying and brushing off, her emotion too, I did what I read and I was told juga lah kan as a mother. So I need to talk eye to eye. So I squat down. Dari masa tu senang sikit nak squat down. Sekarang ni susah sikit lah nak squat down kan. So I squat down and I make sure it's eye to eye. And then I hold both of her hand and said, you know what? I'm scared too. And then she thought, you're scared? Dia pelik tak kan? So what I did, I was showing off my vulnerability juga tau masa tu. Said, I'm scared too because this is the first time ever. Of course, that's actually why firstborn are so sentimental, to parents, because everything dengan dia kan firstly. So I kata, this is my first experience sending my first daughter, my first child to school. I do not know whether you can fit in, whether, your teacher will like you, whether you will make friends, whether you'll be bullied or whatever lah kan. I'm scared. Lepas tu masa tu dia macam terkejut. And then bila dia dengar tu, muka dia tu, pelan-pelan. And then dia senyum, dia kata, you know what, I'm not scared anymore, dia kata. So, okay, let's do this. So, Umi tinggalkan kakak lah pukul, now and I will come back at 10 macam tu kan. So, masuklah nak masuk kelas tu. So, dekat kelas tu, I nampak lah kan, mak ayah ni ada yang dekat window sill tu kan, tengok anak dia kat dalam tu kan. So, ingat lagi sekolah Alamin tu, dia kasut dia tu dia letak lah dekat luar macam tu kan. So, cikgu dia ambil kan, and I just let her go macam tu. And then, tapi I taklah pergi kat tepi tingkap tu kan. So, I was just at the back macam tu lah kan. Dia ada macam, basketball court itu. So, dia tinggi sikit. So, I can see her in the class kan. So, dia dah masuk tu, duduk kat situ. And then, cikgu dia start cakap macam tu. And then, dia very attentive to the teacher. Tapi lepas tu, dia tengok I. Dia nampak lah I dekat situ lagi kan. Lepas tu, dia pay back attention dia. And then, hardly 10 minutes, dia pandang I. And then they make this sign, dia suruh pergi. Dia definitely was looking at me with that confidence and said, you can go now, So then I went lah, kan. Padahal mak orang lain tu. So actually separation anxiety kalau untuk anak-anak. Sebenarnya yang takutnya mak ayah dia. Mak ayah tak let go, anak tu tak let go. So sampai sekarang when I talk more on vulnerability and all, I think that was the time where it was a very important and essential teaching moment to my child that, you know what, as somebody like me, of course anak kita selalu tengok kat mak ayah ni as dia punya, sanctuary yang payung dia gitu kan, but you know what, this payung ni pun sebenarnya takut juga. Kan? And when you talk about your vulnerability kan, then you realize you're not alone. That's the most important. You see how alone and lonely it is to be egoistical, to not admit all this. Kan? Such a lonely life, kan? Because you always like, okay, that's another story that I remember. This was actually a medical movie. Tajuk dia The Doctor. And this is something like macam a doctor who get who become a patient sebab dia ada cancer dekat dia punya larynx. Used to be a very arrogant doctor lah. Dia cardiothoracic. So dia selalu rasa, that's uneditable lah. Selalu kita pun bila doktor ni pun ada yang rasa dia yang paling pandai sekali kan. So this cardiothoracic was so arrogant and always look down upon other people. So and he particularly looked down upon one surgeon who is ORL kita panggil, yang larynx semua tu lah. So because dia rasa this doctor is so, talk to the patient even when the patient is under. So and then they call him the rabbi. Macam kita, kalau kita kan orang yang warak sikit lah macam tu. And he always macam AJ macam tu lah. And until Allah takdirkan dia ada cancer, ada growth dekat dia punya vocal cord. So they went to the best lah kiranya, and it was a lady surgeon. Sangat cantik semua, and tapi dia sangat rude pula. Dia sama arrogant dengan dia lah, macam bertemu lah buku dengan ruas kan ya. And then of course they need to scope and they need to actually deal with that mess, which is very much nak buat biopsi. Tapi being a surgeon, dia pun tahulah kan, dia nak masa yang paling awal where in the morning. First case is always the best because the surgeon and the team are all very fresh. Tapi this doktor ni, doktor yang dia sekarang jadi patient kan, doktor dia bagi dia a list yang petang. So dia tahu lah, no, I'm not gonna have it in the evening. Dia kata, because I know how tired you will be. So dia pun surgeon kan. So so finally dia terpaksa telan balik lah dia punya tu. Dia minta rabbi ni yang buat. Okay. So this and then masa tu you nampak lah dia punya susahnya lah nak connect dengan wife dia. Wife dia masa tu very, isteri yang sangat baik lah, nak share dia punya problem tu when he was diagnosed. So masa tu wife dia kata dia dapat tahu dia dapat kanser tu pun macam indirectly, bukan dia yang cakap tau ya. So dia nak to be there lah dengan husband dia, tapi husband dia macam just put her aside gitu. And then bila dia kata it's okay, we can do this together, dia kata we, dia kata sangat dia dialog tu, it's not we who have this cancer, dia kata it's me, dia kata kan. So masa tu I rasa, woi jahatnya, bukan jahat lah, macam imagine if that is my husband and I'm the wife, I'm trying to ni, tapi dia, so at the end of that, dia punya patient, dia ada seorang patient dia, sama-sama patient lah, and that lady died. Dia ada brain cancer tu macam tu lah. So she died and she left him a letter tau. And in that letter, dia bagi story macam, you know what, there was once a scarecrow, dia kata, who lived, of course scarecrow ni dia wonder kan, dia duduk tengah ladang tu, dekat that weed tu. Dia selalu nak lah all these birds and coming pada dia, tapi dia tak ada pun, dia tak ada yang datang kan. And then dia kata, you know why? Because the scarecrow was actually, dia depangkan tangan tu kan scarecrow selalu macam tu kan. But that is actually macam putting people away from you because you tak nak orang hurt you kan. So ingat lagi dia kata, put down your arm, dia kata, let people come close to you. Masa tu I rasanya, oh my god, this is vulnerability lesson, 101. Maybe tu tadilah Dr. Har punya conclusion kan. If you feel very lonely and alone, dia lonely and alone ni, dia like, alone tu is something you can see lah. Macam kalau dekat bilik tu seorang, you alone lah kan. Then as compared to kalau you are being accompanied by so many other people. Tapi lonely is that feeling that you are on your own, even though you are in the middle of so many people, in a sea of people pun, in a crowd, you can feel lonely. And to me, if you live your life, with ego taking the best part of you, and it's now overruling you and controlling you, making sure that you don't show your vulnerability, then you are going to lead a very lonely life. Because your life is so fake tau sebenarnya, dia tak authentic kan. So I think that's my conclusion lah agaknya talking into this. Okay.
Important topic, very, orang kata, it's part of the vulnerability.
Tak ada soalan pula
Yeah.
Tak ada soalan pula ni. Takkan tak ada soalan
orang,
ke semua orang.
betul. Syiffa tengok orang keluar masuk.
Tajuk
Aduh.
ni sometimes kan, Dr. Han nak beritahu, tajuk ni sometimes very painful tau. Tak ramai orang boleh dengar ni.
Betul. Yeah, it's very painful. And actually when you use the word painful, mungkin sebelum, because we have like 9 minutes je lagi tinggal. It leads to the next question lah. Kalau audience tak ada question, feel free to ask question or give opinion, okay? So, Dr. Ha, macam kan kita cakap tadi, so usually ego ni, for me, bila kita dah bersembang tadi, it doesn't necessarily means that you being vain or arrogant, but it might also macam cause you to react ataupun behave in a silent way, macam give silent treatment, stay put, kiranya mendiamkan diri sebab tak nak react, tak nak tunjuk reactivity tu, because you have so much ego inside you. So what do you think about this? Like what do you think about this? Yeah.
Macam Dr. Han nak just clarify balik. Maksudnya while I thinking that people yang egoistical will be very arrogant, macam showing that ni, ada tak agaknya orang yang tak macam tu tapi sebenarnya ego juga? Macam tu kah soalan dia? Dia kan, to me, ego ni will show its ugly head when you are faced with some kind of conflict or some kind of things that put you right in the middle of things, you know lah kan. Mungkin juga kita nampak orang yang nampak macam baik, tapi sebenarnya rupanya bila dia kena challenge tu dia taklah pula macam yang kita expect tu. Again, our expectation lah kan ya. Macam let me give you an example lah agaknya. Dari sudut position dia mungkin seorang yang seorang yang banyak ilmu contohnya kan. Dan kalau katalah agamawan ni, ilmu agamanya semua dia tahulah kan. Dia tahu dia punya credential dia punya pengalaman dia. Tapi there are times when you know that dia very egoistical. Dia rasa dia saja yang betul contohnya kan. So dia tidak humble begitu kan. Dekat situ yang Abdullah, time saya teringat pula tiba-tiba Abdullah Al-Mubarak, dia kata orang yang berilmu ni, talking about orang berilmu ni kan ya. Berilmu ni dia membawa you kepada tiga tingkatan dia kan. Tingkatan yang pertama, you sombong dengan ilmu tu. You rasa you seorang je yang pandai. Macam itulah. Kan. So yang ini ni kan jadi penyakit untuk orang yang pandai lah. Okay. So kalau you nak tengok sama ada orang pandai tu macam mana akhlak dia apa semua tu, challenge dia. Dan tengok macam mana dia handle that. Okay. Alright. Kalau misalnya ya, despite dia rasa dia pandai tu, dia teruskan juga pengetahuan dia punya pursuit of knowledge tu, dia akan menjadi rendah diri dengan ilmu tu lah. Dan bukan dalam macam mana, dia rasa macam dia bukan rendah diri tu tawaduk tau. Dia macam dia bukan rendah hati, dia rendah diri. Dia rasa actually ada orang lain lah pandai lagi dari aku. Dia dah mula dah doubt it. So dia macam masa tu dia macam crash lah dia punya confidence tu. Tapi kalau dia terus juga lagi, dia akan naik kepada tingkatan yang ketiga bila dia rasa dia sebenarnya tak tahu apa-apa pun. Okay, so yang ni dia akan menjadi seorang yang sebenarnya dia banyak dia tahu tapi dia sangat humble, kan? Dan itu tingkatan yang paling tinggi lah. Okay? So, kalau you are still, benda ni boleh kita relate dengan Dunning-Kruger punya curve. Effect dia panggil kan. Dunning-Kruger, these two scientist dia tengok the level of confident dengan knowledge yang kita ada. So dia kata if you are a novice, you baru tahu sikit je sebenarnya. You rasa macam you tahu banyak sangat. So tu yang naik tu you punya confident tu. Kan ya? And then kalau Allah izinkan you belajar lebih lagi, daripada tinggi tu you come down. Sebabnya alamak, actually ramai orang lagi tahu daripada I kan. So tapi kalau you tak, you ada kat atas tu yang dipanggil mountain. Dia macam peak ni tu. This is the peak of peak of ignorance lah. Dia katakan macam kira apa ya, ada peak of, lupa nanti I sebutkan balik. Tapi kat sini ni memang you paling bodoh lah sebenarnya. Tapi you mengaku pandai gitulah. And then later on baru you naik pelan-pelan. Confident you dengan knowledge you tu naik seimbang. And so that is when you are competent with your knowledge. And finally you come up to a level yang macam plateauing. So maknanya you punya level of confidence sama dengan banyaknya ilmu you tu. So this one ni. And you see Socrates pun bila dia masa awal-awal muda-muda, bila orang tanya dia kan, know thyself dia kata. Kan tahu dalam diri kita kan. But before he died, dia kata macam ni, the only true wisdom is when knowing you know nothing, dia kata. And then hold on. Sama dengan Abdullah bin Mubarak tadi tu. Kan? So to me, tadilah your question is, ada tak yang patutnya, somebody tu, you can see whether the ego actually has taken control ataupun dia sebenarnya dengan lagi banyak ilmu tu, dia macam ikut resmi padi, lagi tunduk, lagi berisi tu. So, that is actually, dekat situ pun you dah tahu mana yang orang yang boleh tundukkan or tame dia punya ego tu. Kan? You know, bila you pandai bercakap dengan orang bodoh ni, ya Allah, satu penyiksaan sebenarnya. I'm sorry to say it that way lah. You know, yang lagi menyiksakan orang yang bodoh tapi dia rasa dia pandai. Okay, betul. Doktor Hal kan jadi doktor ni macam-macam lah jumpa orang kan. Ada yang bila datang dia sakit, dia kata dia sakit macam ni. So Doktor Hal kata okay, sebenarnya kita ada bolehlah ketiga cara lah nak ni. Yang ni tahu. Dia tahu. Dia tahu dah. Okay, tak apa. Saya explain. Yang kedua ni pula kita main tahu. Dia tahu. Lepas tu ada yang ketiga macam ni. Tahu. Sama lama I naik angin juga. Macam ni lah puan. Kalau puan dah tahu semua ni, saya rasa puan tak perlu jumpa saya. Kan? Tapi dia macam, dia tak boleh nak duduk kat situ diam-diam and yalah, walau dia tahu kan, I'm actually explaining things kan. So
betul.
Tapi inilah orang yang paling arrogant. Tapi sebenarnya tak pandai pun, tapi sangat sombong ni. So I pula blame me. I said, puan, saya rasa kalau puan dah tahu semua ni, puan tak perlu jumpa saya. Senang kan cerita. So itulah dia kan. Seolah-olah bila kita kata nak diam kat situ, nak dengar, tu satu yang sangat memalukan ke? Doktor Ham macam terngiang-ngiang lagi, dia kata tahu. I tak sempat habis cakap lagi dah. Tahu kan lama-lama. Naik jugalah Doktor Ham punya tanduk kan.
Menguji kesabaran dah. Kita pun ada sabar kita kan.
Kita kalau setiap kali baca surah Kahfi tu kan, baca surah Kahfi sampai kat part yang Nabi Khidir kalau ikutkan tu kan kata cukuplah kat sini kita mufarakah tu. I think betul lah, maknanya
betul lah.
Everything ada limit sebenarnya kan.
Betul lah, everything has limits. Okay, Dr. Ha, boleh tak kita jawab soalan audience? I think this is a very important question juga ni. Daripada Nanat the organic chemist kot, okay. Dia tanyanya, saya tak tahan anak saya nangis jerit-jerit, lepas bagi masa beberapa lama dan cuba memujuk, saya akan paksa dia untuk diam. I couldn't stand that dan saya pun tak nak anak ayahnya pula hilang sabar. Nak buat apa ya? Because it hurts me too. I know saya seolah-olah stop him from expressing his emotion. Ini mungkin yang relate dengan Dr. Ha cakapkan tadi kan, tentang yang kita macam bila anak nangis kita diam-diam sebab kita macam usually jarang nak biarkan anak kita express the emotion. So maybe you have words or advice regarding this situation?
Baik. Okay. When you are dealing with meltdown, so ni Dr. Han tak cakap pasal maybe yang special needs lah. You know now, kalau yang maybe in the autistic punya range tu dia ada dia punya meltdown tu. You have to manage that differently. Tapi ni meltdown yang biasa lah ya ni. Siapa tadi yang tanya? Nana ni Okay. So Nana, kita bila dah anak tu you must anticipate lah dia akan meltdown. Kalau tak meltdown tu belum lagi tu. I hope kalau ada parents yang kata my children tak pernah meragam kan. I kata ni belum cukup lama lah. Belum cukup lama, nanti you bound to ni. And for this kan, dia kan kita pun tak tahu apa yang dia nak agaknya kan. Masa dia dalam pantang tu lagi lah kita tak tahu apa, menangis je lah. So kalau menangis tu sebab dia lapar, perut dia tak sedap ke macam tu kan. Tapi selalunya bila dia express dia punya menangis tu, dia sebenarnya dia memang jadi trigger untuk kita ya Nana. Tapi kita punya respon tu nanti akan decide sama ada this is going to come up to a meltdown ataupun dia boleh stop kat situ. Okay, so that's why you realise kalau ya Nana, kalau you realise mak-mak yang dah senior sikit ni kan, dia handle this better. Sebabnya bila anak dia menguling-guling kat situ kan, dia punya intonation, dia betul, kenapa ni? Kan ya. So dia boleh keep things. Anak kita pula bila dia tengok parents dia tu, mak atau ayah dia tak triggered by that, dia pun mula dia pun macam signal dia tu, no lah, you are not going to get what you want lah. Dia punya ni sebenarnya dia nak bagi tahu you dia nak apa, tapi dia tak boleh nak cakap. Dan you pula respon dengan bentuk yang sama juga macam tu, jerit-jerit juga ke. So dia pun jadi, dia macam kalau proses tu dia just going on and on and on gitu kan. Tapi it can easily be stopped by one parents yang experience, and dia tengok dengan muka dia, dengan ni tu, kenapa ni? Ada apa? Kan ya. Wah, dia jerit-jerit kan. Okay, kalau cakap macam tu, Umi tak dengar, Umi tak tahu. Kan? Cakap betul-betul. Kan? Lepas tu, kita punya suara tu sebenarnya very commanding. Okay. That is the first step. Jadi, yang itu pun bukan senang lah sebabnya kita ni balik penat-penat lah pula tu. Kadang tu dia pula meragam-ragam macam tu. Betul lama pula tu kan menangis kat situ. And then dah start husband kita pun dah marah. Tu memang lah ya. So, Dr. tak pernah ke dalam situasi ni? Dr. mesti pernah kan. Tapi anak kita ni, tu dia satu. I learn this through buku ni. John Gray kita tahu kan yang Men Are From Venus, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus tu. Kan? Dia ada satu lagi buku, Children Are From Heaven. So dia bila dah, and to me I katakan macam ni. Having had to live on earth, semua tiga-tiga ni kan, semuanya dari planet yang berbeza ni kan, tapi children kita memang from heaven kan, yang nak jadikan dia lain tu memang kita ni lah, mak ayah ni. So dalam buku tu dia bagi time out. So kan Dr. Han mulanya macam dia kata time out ni is for anak kita to get back dia punya control tu kan. And it depends on dia punya umur. So kalau dia 2 tahun, dia hanya 2 minit aja. Kalau misalnya dia kecil lagi kan, so maybe 1 minute cukup. Okay, and then as anak tu, kalau dia tantrum, dia radang, dia apa tu, umur yang lagi sikit tu, kita bagi tempoh tu lah kan. So macam mana time out tu, it's actually, sebabnya dia kata, I remember dalam buku dia kata, anak kita tu kecil, you can just hold him or her and bawa pergi somewhere else kan. So bukanlah macam tantrum macam Dr. Han kan, macam ni nak ambilnya, nak dokong kan. Tapi anak kita boleh dokong. Dia of course lah, dia tendang-tendangnya Nana kan. Kadang tu kalau you tengok Super Nanny, ada yang budak-budak yang dah out of control, dia speed lah, dia curse lah, Allah. Tapi yang tu sebenarnya it doesn't have to go there sebenarnya tau. Masa dia ni just control. You control tu memang you are in control. Faham tak ya? So, okay, you ni okay. Kalau dia nak tu, you pegang je dia and then you masukkan kat dalam bilik dia ke. Dia kata okay, adik, especially kalau dia 2 tahun tu ya. Adik kena duduk sini dulu ataupun ya anak kita tu. Umi nak tutup pintu. Calm yourself. Kita kena introduce the word that you need to calm yourself. Okay? And then tutup je pintu tu. Now, tutup pintu, jangan kunci. Apa bilik tu pula, janganlah padamkan api. Kita bukan nak punish dia. Kita just nak dia ambil dia punya space tu. So, mula-mula tu datang macam tak percaya kan. But I tried lah. Especially masa, ingat lagi, Syiffa masa tu, tak apalah jadinya kan. Makin Dr. Har, ni dia jerit juga lagi. I think that was when she was maybe 4 kan macam tu kan. So, I have to put her, dekat dapur tu ada macam satu area tu macam pantry lah sikit kan. Letak kat situ, tutup pintu, letak kata 4 minit dalam tu until you can calm yourself. Of course lah dia jerit-jerit, dia pukul-pukul kan. And I know I tak kunci tau, tapi dia tak buka. Because I was very doubtful lah, kalau I buka je lah kan, tahu tak kunci kan. Dia tak kunci. So I memang kata you need to calm yourself. Lepas tu you dengar lah dia punya nangis semakin perlahan. Umi dia tu kan. Lepas tu kan jari dia dekat bawah bawah pintu tu. Umi dia kata. And then my mate dah nangis lah. Kak buka lah kak dia tu kan. Dan dia tak tunggu lagi 1 minit.
Okay.
I ni nak menunggu 4 minit tu Nana, memang macam I pun sebenarnya my heart breaks. Macam kan painfulnya, tapi I need to give her time. Tapi memanglah dia nangis semakin perlahan gitu. You jangan tinggal dia. You duduk dekat situ juga. Like macam the concept of that closed door is that no, you need to calm yourself. Umi is outside, tapi I'm giving you 4 minutes, So tapi it works every time. And then bila dah keluar tu kan kita pun sedih. Dan dia datang, dia peluk, okay, So dia dah in control kan of herself. So selalunya dah nangis. Macam tu lah yang nangis macam tu kan. Kesian kan. Kita pegang dia kan. I'm so sorry. I have to do that. Otherwise nanti kan. Tapi lepas tu tak buat lagi lah. Bila kita kata, okay, you need your time out. Okay. Dia diffuse terus. Kan? My boy pun macam tu. Tapi dia lagi cute. Dia bila dah masa tu dia pun form, I think the tantrum tu ada sampai for years tu. Dia adalah something yang dia tak ni kan. So kena buat macam tu juga. And then bila keluar tu I kata I have to do this. Otherwise nanti Syamil tak boleh nak ni. Dia pun okay lah. And then lepas tu pun kita pun dia macam berdamai lah gitu kan. And then when both of us, actually kan Nana, you need that time out for yourself sebenarnya. Bukan sangat pasal budak tu. Budak tu pun perlu juga dia punya time out kan. To me it's not enough to just put them at the corner. Corner tu dia macam, kan selalu dia orang kata pandang bagi dia tengok corner tu kan. I don't think that quite helpful lah untuk I kan. So and then ingat lagi Syamil bila kata Umi, kalau Umi tantrum berapa lama kena. And then bukan tu tau, dia tak start kata. Dia kata, tapi kalau Mbah tantrum, Mbah di my mother kan. So like macam masa tu I was maybe berapa kalau dia 10 I might be 40 lah, baru 41 macam tu kan masa tu. Kata Umi dia kata berapa lama, berapa minit Umi nak kena time out dia kata kan. Lepas tu I tak sempat jawab, dia tengok hanya kalau Mbah, dia kata Mbah dia would be definitely masa tu dah 60 over kan. So I said okay, when adult like me and Mbah ada tantrum, we don't do this, we don't do time out ni. Masa tu I rasa macam budak ni pandainya lah, But to me, and I do not know whether you can try this or not, tapi you have to do this together dengan your husband. Maksud dia, bila you buat ni, your husband jangan buka lah pintu tu. Jangan, nanti dia tak jadi. So dia macam, you have to be together lah kan. So it's just basically, I don't know, you can try lah, It works for me. And then, tak ada lah insiden yang anak menangis-nangis guling-guling dekat supermarket gitu kan. Yang tu kena cakap awal, okay, we are going tempat ni nanti banyak toys, but we just bought your toys last 2 weeks, so this time we just go and see. If anything that you like, you can actually tell me, but we just gonna see je, kita tak beli kan. So ingat lagi lah waktu tu Syiffa dia Umi dia kata kan. So I tahu lah muka dia, dia tunjuk lah toys tu kan. Lepas tu I pun duduk kat situ, this is nice. Lepas tu dia mata dia macam, can I have it? I said, okay, we know that kita tak beli. Maybe later on, but not now. My heart actually cried. Because I can afford that, I can just buy it, kan. And she's such a nice girl pun. Tapi, I have made my promise, kan. Tapi lepas tu, dia punya birthday ke, for any surprise ke, you bagilah dia kan. So that's, And then bila you buat macam tu, dia realise that this is how we are teaching anak-anak kita delayed gratification. You don't have to have it now. Kan? Kena bayar, kena ni. Itulah maksud Dr. Han rasa macam-macam lah kan sebenarnya. But Nana, it's all about you sebenarnya. It's all about you and your husband macam mana nak ni. Kadang-kadang tu, I'm sorry Dr. Han bukannya nak kata untuk siapa yang anak sangat tantrum semua tu dah banyak macam-macam you buat kan, I'm sure. Tapi agaknya anak-anak kita tu, I believe they are mirroring, you know, kita punya ni. If you are calm, tu yang Kak dah cakap tadi, kalau misalnya anxiety sekolah, separation anxiety kan, anak nangis kat sekolah tu semua tu, sebenarnya yang sangat tak nak let go tu mak ayah dia. And this goes sampai ke sekolah asrama pun. Dahar alumni sekolah Sri Puteri kan, presiden. So untuk budak form 1, memanglah bila tengok, and then Dr. Han pernah duduk dekat Alam Shah, I think 5 years, Ustaz Zul jadi warden. Ustaz Zul kata boleh predict sangat mana dia budak-budak yang mesti nak keluar lepas seminggu. Tengok mak ayah dia. Tengok mak ayah dia dah tahu lah kan. Yang banyak komplainnya mak ayah dia kan. Jadinya budak tu manalah dia macam. So I think it's all, and on saying that, if you can reflect kan, sebenarnya yang buatkan kita berani ni siapa? It's actually our parents. Kan? Kalau misalnya your parents ni katalah Syiffa pergi kerja sampai kat jauh sangat tu, it's because bukannya your parents tak sayang you atau ni, but they deal with their vulnerability tu and courageously kan. So and siapa yang dapat benefit? You lah. Bayangkan kalau your parents kata janganlah Syiffa kan, mak nanti kau apa jadi kat mak kau tak ada, memang tak gilah kan ya. So it's up to us. Okay, dah 10:15.
Okay, betul tu.
Nana boleh bagi tahu tak? Kalau dia boleh bagi feedback sikit, you know, whether, you know,
it helps or not. Actually Nana ada tambah lagi sebenarnya kat bawah tu. Along the way dia kata macam kalau saya tengah marah, anak lepas jerit-jerit datang minta maaf. Saya kata dekat anak, ibu perlu masa. Ibu tak boleh tiba-tiba maafkan. Is this good or memang kena terus cakap, ibu maafkan?
Yang ni I think you are the best. You are the best to handle that ni Nana. Sebab sometimes bila you cepat sangat maafkan pun, budak tu jadi macam it's just routine. Dia tahu mak akan maafkan. So nanti dia buat lagi macam tu lah kan. So I think kalau tengok juga apa benda yang mistake yang dia buat tu, kalau katalah benda tu mungkin sikit je kan, and then you kata okay, memaafkan, tapi next time dah tahu kan Umi tak suka benda ni, mungkin abang jangan buat lagi macam tu kan. Tapi kalau cepat sangat minta maaf, dia bagi dia maaf, nanti dia pun ingat benda tu senang sajalah. I think it's nice when it's okay for you to ask for your time tu, boleh. Tapi maknanya, tapi taklah juga every time kan, and then you give dia silent treatment pula. Yang tu I think dia bagi you message yang lain. Dia akan buat benda tu lah juga kat orang lain kan. So you say, okay, dia sebenarnya I think bila dia minta maaf tu, dia kena dah dapat lesson learn dia. And to me, I will actually take that opportunity to actually discuss why are you mad. You know, kenapa benda ni buatkan you marah. Sebab kadang-kadang anak-anak ni dia tak tahu kenapa kita marah tu kan. So that would be a very good teaching lesson. And then maybe bila anak tu dah boleh fikir sendiri, kalau katalah somebody, you know, does this to you, how would you feel? Macam tu kan. And so you take that opportunity to relate kan, especially kalau budak lelaki kan, macam dah cakap tadi, there is a learning opportunity to guide the boy to relate dengan dia punya emotion. Mungkin dia kata, abang pun marah lah juga, macam tu lah, abang pun marah juga kan. Tapi okay macam ni, tadilah yang 5 apology tadi kan. So betul ke? Kan, and then how you going to make up for this one? Contohnya dia rosakkan something ke kan, dia kena ada penalty juga tu, tak cukup lah maaf saja kan. Tu, and then maybe make them promise juga. I realise that making promise tu is something yang berat lah sikit kan, ada binding. And I do not know, ni sikit ni Syiffa, Dr. Hasti rasa, you know, dulu kan kita punishment kena tulis kan, 1 kali. Saya tidak ni kan. I think we should bring that back lah tau. Sebabnya while they are writing that, Of course dia sangat marah lah kan, because they have to write down. Tapi that word yang saya tidak akan berbohong lagi. Saya tidak akan berbohong lagi. Tu kan benda tu kalau sampai agak tak ada 100 pun lah. I think 60 pun cukup. Dia masuk dalam kepala tau. Kan? Because you are writing that down. And of course you tak boleh, bukannya pakai komputer copy paste je, tak. You write it down. Kan? And so I think I did once that to my son masa we caught him lying. That is the age of 10 selalunya. Memang kita kan itu umur kita nak mencuba-cuba pecah amanah tu. And kalau kita ni mak ayah yang sangat mudah untuk dibohongi, anak kita akan terus bohong lah. Itu yang siakat senohong gelamirkan duri, bercakap bohong lama-lama mencuri because you So masa tu we caught Syamil not telling the truth. So kena tulis. And of course lah masa tu dengan kawan-kawan kan. So he was expecting his friend to defend him lah. Kan? Sebab dia berbohong tu tentang because dia pergi somewhere, tapi I tanya tak nampak pun dia kat situ. Mulalah cerita macam-macam and then I kata dia pergi seorang ke, dia pergi dengan semua kawan-kawan dia ni, dia sebut lah. Lepas tu bila awak tanya kawan-kawan dia depan dia tu, no dia tak pergi, tapi Syamil pergi. So dia kena betray gitu. So dia kata saya tidak akan berbohong lagi, 60, dia buat dah 60, tapi dia tambah 10. Saya tidak akan percaya dengan kawan-kawan yang khianat. Ingat lagi something like that. Dia tambah 10, dia sendiri tahu tambah. I think that's smart. Kan lepas tu so agaknya maybe I personally think kalau kita anak-anak yang dah boleh menulis, boleh cognitive wise tu, that disciplining to me is a silent way of, dia macam kalau education dia panggil consolidation. They consolidate. They will remember that for the rest of your life. Dan Syamil pun kalau ingatkan yang tu, dia tak nak cakap yang tu lah. Okay, so that was painful lah kiranya kan. Tapi I don't know after that if he lied through his teeth. But I bukannya tahu, tapi deep inside at least dia ada conscience, dia kata I'm not telling the truth kan. So he has to deal with it lah. So agak itu je lah Kak ya Nana. InsyaAllah itu
betul. Nana pun kata thank you for your responses and validation to Dr. Ha, very much appreciated. Thank you for asking question as well.
Yes betul. Dia kan Syiffa, Dr. Harlina, ada orang kadang tu bagi parenting tips ni macam-macam lah kan. So tak pernah ingat lah satu tu. Dia bagi macam-macam parenting. So this parent tanyalah dekat that person, so how many children do you have? Betul, no, I don't have any children. Oh, no wonder. So, kalau you ada anak, you know, it's not straightforward kan, insyaAllah.
Dealing with human ni very subjective kan, human macam-macam.
And be vulnerable, please. Be vulnerable. That's the only way to be authentic. Dr. Harlina, kalau you nak quote I would say vulnerability is the permission to be human. So you are not super robot ke apa ataupun superhuman ke, we are just human kan. And let's admit that and become authentic and original, and you will see all these people all relationships sebenarnya can improve once you take that stand lah, insyaAllah. Okay.
Betul, saya sangat setuju and thank you so much Dr. Ha. I mean you started with taming the ego, but sharing all the tips and answers really helpful. Banyak juga yang kita boleh belajar and I really hope it will benefits our friends and audience juga kan. Thank you so much. InsyaAllah kita jumpa tahun depan.
InsyaAllah. Okay.
Thank you Dr. Ha. Take care.
Sama. Thanks everyone. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.